All right, Mr. Lutz, everybody knows you. George is going to come on up. He is honor and remember and run for the fallen. He's probably got a third thing out there somewhere we don't know about yet. But anyway, I'll hand this over to you. And what do you need?
Okay, I'm going to stay up here too? Oh man, I'm going to bore everybody. What an honor it is to be here. I mean, I can't even begin to express the honor that it is to be in front of this group. And I'm not, if those of you who know me know I'm not usually tongue-tied, right? But in a moment of emotion, you know, I kind of am tongue-tied. You know, my journey began 18 years ago, almost 18 years ago, when, like you, many of you, most of you, received that knock on the door, right, with those 5 very simple words, "We regret to inform you." Those were the most devastating moments of my life, and I know you all will agree with me. And it was then that I realized that I became a Gold Star father, and that my wife became a Gold Star mother. We didn't know what that meant. We didn't know that we had joined this club, this exclusive club that we didn't want to be a part of, but we were there, right? And so what do you do with that devastating news? You fall apart, right? You just crumble, and then you try to figure out how you're going to pick yourself up again and go forward and make a difference, right? Because that's what our kids wanted. They would not have wanted us to be stagnant in our grief, but say, "Hey mom, come on, what would I do?" Right? And so many of you have gone out in so many ways and honored your children in beautiful ways by naming post offices, roads, so many opportunities to keep that honor going, right? But one of the things that I did in my grief was I went out and met other families. This is what I wanted to do. I wanted to go out there and I wanted to hear stories of people that were going through what I just started, right? And then I wanted to be there when those families started that journey after me. And I thought that wasn't enough, because really what I wanted to do was give these families a gift. You know, when my son died, like many of you, you start getting things in the mail, right? You'll get lots of cards, you'll get photos, you'll get quilts, you'll get all kinds of reminders from people that want to recognize your loss. I wanted to give a gift as well. I didn't want to get any more gifts, but I wanted to make sure that I could give the biggest gift possible that I could imagine. And the one thing that I realized in talking to families, many mothers at first, because this journey began from my wife's perspective, not from my perspective, right? Is I realized 2 things, that everyone I talked to only cried for 2 things: that their loved one hadn't died in vain, and that they not be forgotten, right? No matter how many benefits we receive, no matter what comes to us, in the end, as we age, as we all do, we come to a point where we really hope that somebody gives a damn, right? Was that sacrifice important, and will they remember? Maybe not your loved one individually by name, but will they remember that freedom comes at a price? And it comes at a price that your loved ones paid so that your neighbor's loved one didn't have to. And so the idea of that became creating a national symbol, a gift that I hoped you don't need, right? We all have Memorial Day that we look forward to, right? Not me. But we remember every single day, right? We carry our loved one with us every single day. And I wanted to give a gift of remembrance, not for us, but for the rest of America. You've all heard the statistics that less than 1% served. I recently spoke at the National Convention of Veterans Affairs Directors, right? These are the guys in charge of every VA hospital and cemetery in every state in America. And I polled them And accumulatorily, not a word, but you get my drift. In accumulation, I asked them, how many, if you got all the veterans, all the active duty, everybody military connected, what percentage of the population would that entail? And they told me 8%. These are the guys that should know, right? 8% of our population is not military connected. So I realize my audience is not preaching to the choir because I love you, but it's reaching America, 92% of Americans who don't understand what that price really means. And so on Memorial Day of 2008, 16 years ago, do we have a regular flag? We don't. I unveiled to the nation what I hoped would become a public, recognized national symbol of remembrance. A way for all of them, not all of us, to perpetually send a message of thanks for the sacrifice that you all have made. So for 16 years, I have been on that journey, giving my every breath to this, those of you who know me. The first thing I did was to meet with the American Gold Star Mothers in Washington that very first year in 2008. And I met with Georgie Krell and Molly Morell and many of those who were there. And I said, hey, I'm just this grieving dad, and I've got an idea. And I want you to hear my idea. And if you guys believe in it, then it's got to be important for me to keep that flame burning. And, you know, to a person in that boardroom in that small third floor office, that vision was born, right, with that first group. And over the course of these years now, we have now had, by legislation, 28 state adoptions. 28 states have recognized the Honor Remember flag as their state symbol of remembrance. 28 states. Anybody here from Alaska? No? Alaska was the last state, just to let you know, which is beautiful. And I promised Jen I would say something because there's been some controversy over the years, and you'll hear controversy all the time. But one of the things that keeps coming up to me was, you know, we have our Gold Star lapel pins and we have our Gold Star banner. Why isn't that enough? And it is for us. Because what happened back when that was established in World War I was those identifiers, right, were meant for us to send a message to our neighbors, right? When you hung that gold star on your window, you were sending a message to your neighbor that, hey, I lost a loved one. Your neighbor might have lost a loved one as well. But it was a way to communicate, right, to the nation, to the world. When I wear this lapel pin in airports and wherever I go, and I'll tell you, not once in 16 years has anybody ever stopped me and said, oh, you lost your loved one? Nobody's ever stopped me and identified this, right? Except maybe another Gold Star family. But what I'm saying is this was meant for us to send a message to the world of our loss. I want you to understand this very simply. The Honor and Remember flag was created to send a message to you that I haven't forgotten. This is my vision, and I hope that you all see this vision. In my yard is an Honor Remember flag. I go out of my driveway and I take a right. At the end of that road, there's a T. My neighbor is flying an Honor Remember flag. If I take a right at that T and go to the end where there's another T and take a left, the VFW is flying an Honor Remember flag. If I go 2 more miles up on the left, there's a Ruritan Club flying the Honor Remember flag. If I go 5 more miles on that same road, there's an American Legion, the oldest one in the state of Virginia, flying an Honor Remember flag. If I take a right and go 2 miles, there's a church at a major intersection flying an Honor Remember flag. My hope is that wherever you travel, you will be continually reminded that there is a population out there, there is a people group, whether it be a church, a business, a club, or whatever, is continually sending a message to you that you have not been forgotten, and your sacrifice is worthy of remembrance. That's not why I'm up here, right? I'm up here because every year for 15 years I've been invited, thank you Pam, thank you board, to be able to make a special presentation because you are my family. And my organization is trying to get national remembrance for you, but because you are my family, I want to make sure that each one of you individually knows that I have not forgotten you or your loved one by name. Jennifer has been introduced. Dave is not up here. Chapter Director of Honor and Remember, the state of Colorado. It has been our mission to make sure that we present personalized flags as often and as widespread as possible throughout our year. And every year we have the privilege of presenting about 400 flags. So it's over one a day. And I have 400 on a waiting list at any one given time. But today, as always, say always, I hope this continues, we are able to make two presentations and they're both surprises. I always love surprises and I hate surprises. But I know that we're all family and I'm not going to embarrass anybody and put anybody on the spot. But with that being said, I would like for Lynda Lambert to come forward. Is Lynda out here? There's Lynda. I need a flag first. Hello. I need to explain one thing before we do this. So what I'm holding is a tri-folded Honor and Remember flag. It's tri-folded in this configuration because it mirrors that American flag that is reverently and respectfully taken off of a casket and handed at the memorial service of your loved one, reminding you of a gift from a grateful nation. This flag is that reminder only one time, because once it is unfolded, it is not meant to be a reminder of a loss, but a celebration of a life. And so you'll never see it folded like this again once it is unfolded. So gentlemen, if you'll let me unfold it, I'll hand it to you.
This Honor and Remember flag is presented with eternal gratitude and respect in memory of Specialist Stephen A. Mobley. With this flag, we honor this patriot's unwavering dedication and remember their selfless sacrifice. By displaying this symbol collectively as a nation, we humbly recognize the enormity of your loss and respectfully say thank you. Signed by George Lutz today. There is a special way we like to have the flags folded when they're presented to the new recipient.
So we have to educate before we start. I always like to ask a family member to say a couple of words, if that's okay. Will you share a little bit with us?
Sure. Good afternoon. My son was stationed here at Fort Carson, and he passed almost 12 years ago on 4th of July. So it's bittersweet to be here again. It feels like home, and I just want to tell everybody that after years of healing, it is my goal to put my arms around each and every military family member that might be struggling or need assistance with resources. So please, if anybody ever needs any resources, please call me up, because I will be there in a heartbeat to put my arms around you. Thank you.
Okay, you've gotten the explanation already. Not going to say it again. But I would like for Pam Shaffer to please come forward.
This Honor and Remember flag is presented with eternal gratitude and respect in memory of Sergeant Andrew M. Shaffer, Counsel. With this flag, we honor this patriot's unwavering dedication and remember their selfless sacrifice. By displaying this symbol collectively as a nation, we humbly recognize the enormity of your loss and respectfully say thank you. Signed by George Lutz.
My Andrew, he always got what he wanted, and after boot camp he had 3 choices, and Fort Carson was his first choice because we're here in Denver, and he got it like he always did.
So that's 2 Fort Carson soldiers. I thought it was an awesome, not awesome, you know what I mean. It's awesome that we get to honor them, their parents, right here on this ground where their kids were. So